Gents, I just want to pause the episode for a moment to let you know about the Strong Men of Value Academy. You will have heard me refer to it a number of times, and I want to bring more attention to it. So this isn't just a program, it's a life-changing environment and community of men who are focused on personal and professional growth. We're looking at areas of relationships, wealth, and health, things to help you thrive and maximize your life. Imagine having bi-monthly one-on-one coaching sessions with myself, weekly group coaching calls, and an incredible brotherhood of high achievers by your side. Now we're diving into resilience, leadership, and holistic growth to not just succeed in your career, but to thrive in your health and your relationships. Your journey to greatness, it starts here. So join the movement and you can apply for the Strong Men of Value Academy. You can head to themanthatcanproject.com to find out more.
You're listening to The Man That Can Project with Lachie Stuart, a global movement created to empower men and open up what's really going through their minds by having real and raw conversations about life's unique challenges and our individual ways of processing it all. Welcome to The Man That Can Project.
Welcome back to another episode of the Man That Can Project podcast. My name is Lachie Stuart and I am your host, along with being a men's performance coach focused on helping you to take your life to that next level through my coaching and programs and workshops and all of these incredible episodes with our guest speakers and a few solo sessions by myself. Today, I'm very grateful to have on Zach Lomax. So Zach is an incredible athlete. He's a professional rugby league player in the NRL for the St. George Illawarra Dragons, for those who follow the rugby league. Incredible player. And this year he was selected in the 2020 New South Wales Origin squad. Now that is a huge achievement. Now it was incredible to get to really speak more about his journey to the NRL and the power of having his family around during this journey and how that's helped him really thrive in this, in his position, especially as such a young, incredibly talented player. At 21 years old, he was the fifth highest point scorer in the NRL this year, which is incredible, and he puts that a lot down to his preparation. He's focusing a lot on the Wim Hof's method for breathwork. We also talk about the difference of a part-time footballer versus a full-time professional and learning from the best in the game, really just being a sponge. Now, it's incredible to get the insights from someone at the elite level at such a young age, and I know you guys will take away so much from this episode. Before we dive in, I want to remind you guys, if you haven't looked into the Inner Circle program, I would highly recommend looking into the Inner Circle. So you can find out more information about that on the Man That Can Project website, so themanthatcanproject.com and /the Inner Circle. There is a 7-day free trial available, so you can check it out risk-free, see what it's all about. But there are so many men from all around the world who are taking their life to the next level. They're creating massive momentum through the weekly calls and the 12-week game plan, setting some incredible goals and using the supportive community around them to work towards that, and plus the accountability. They're not being let off the hook. So you've probably seen me posting a heap of the testimonials of the guys and all of that sort of stuff on the social. So definitely get that 7-day free trial. I look forward to connecting with you guys in the Inner Circle. And now let's enjoy the conversation with Zach Lomax. Awesome, guys. Welcome back to another episode. So today I'm very excited to sit here with Zach Lomax you're in St. George at the moment. What's your hometown, Zach?
My hometown is Temora, so it's a small country town. Not too far from Wagga Wagga in New South Wales. So the population back home in Temora is about 5,000 people, but I'm currently living in Wollongong at the moment. So it's a big trip down here for footy, and I'm loving it.
That's awesome, mate. And so for those who haven't heard of Zach, you'll hear a lot of him over the coming years, and you'll probably do a bit of Googling after this. But Zach's a professional NRL player for the St. George Illawarra Dragons in the NRL over here in Australia. And I know a lot of our American fans and fans from all around the world who see the NRL think it's bloody a maniac sport because you don't wear any pads or anything like that, and the hits that you put on and then take, and also the skills is pretty impressive. But mate, you're an impressive individual. We were fortunate enough to be connected through Lululemon a couple of weeks ago, and just hearing you speak and the fact that you were on there, you just come out of the New South Wales Origin squad, and you were already back into like sinking your teeth into investing time in your own development as an individual, which was really inspiring for me to see, which is why I really wanted to get you on here. And some things that you spoke about at that point, I realised that you have a lot to give the audience, especially 21 years of age, and this year you were the 5th highest or thereabouts point scorer in the NRL, which is incredible, mate. You got a bit of flair about you, so it's great to have you on. But first and foremost, how are you? How you going?
Yeah, good, mate. And yeah, firstly, thanks so much for having me on. I'm super excited to have a chat with you, mate, and hopefully learn as much as I can. And yeah, it's been a bit of a roller coaster year. I'd imagine there's a lot of people in the world that have seen the ups and downs of life this year. And yeah, as I said, it's been a massive roller coaster, but at the moment I'm in a little bit of off season. So just been catching up with family, obviously been in a bubble for most of the year. So it's sort of something that we haven't been able to do and see a fair bit of family. But yeah, at the moment I've just been seeing as much as them with them guys and spending a heap of time with them and friends. And it's been really good. I've even been able to get out in the golf course and do a little bit out there, so it's been good, mate, and yeah, I'm loving every second of it. Yeah, I've seen on Instagram you've been out at the golf a bit, which is always good to get out and have a whack. Mate, how was the bubble experience for you? Where were you guys situated? Were you in Sydney flying, like obviously with the games all over the place and the lockdown, everyone's experienced it a little bit differently. Up in Queensland, we were pretty fortunate to come out early, but I know the athletes, you were stuck in locations you couldn't even go for a coffee shop run or anything like that. It was pretty strict. How was that for you? Yeah, I think yeah, the bubble was obviously wasn't ideal, but at the end of the day, we got to keep our jobs, and it's sort of, I guess, being in the bubble. Obviously, we weren't able to see friends, weren't able to see family. It was just sort of training back from training. That was about it. But I was still living at home. And you look at sort of teams like the Melbourne Storm and the Warriors. Warriors obviously based in Auckland over there in New Zealand, and the team like Storm, Melbourne Storm, they were obviously based down in Melbourne, but they moved up to Sunshine Coast and they were just sort of staying at a hotel up there. So every team was sort of secluded, and they were just sort of to and from home. That's all they could do. They were allowed to sort of get essential services, so they were allowed to go and get groceries, sort of to and from. Yep. But mate, that was sort of about it. But at the end of the day, it was either the choice that we had to make as a playing group, and we'd sort of done a fair bit of talking to and from the RLPA, which is the Rugby League Players Association. Yep. But it was a choice that we had to make as a group, and it was one that we were certain on was to get the game back up and running. And we were super stoked to just even be back on the field. Like, I guess you look in comparison to some of the other people in the world, we were super lucky to just be able to keep our job. You know what I mean? And still be able to play and train. And I understand, conditions weren't ideal, but at the end of the day, we were sort of still able to give people and I guess the general public a thing to look forward to come the weekend, because there were so many other people that were in complete lockdown without jobs. Yeah. So it sort of did make us feel good in a sense as well, to be able to put on a show for the general public there at the end of the weekend as well, mate, which was definitely a bonus as well. Yeah, that's it's pretty crazy. Like, I remember back to when the game got up back and running, there was no crowds. I can't imagine what that would have been like not having any noise. I know they made the
sound over of like the crowd chanting and stuff, but that would have been weird going from playing, packed stadiums to looking around and it's just the boys on the field. Like it would have been a pretty interesting experience, but you nailed it there. Like the perspective that you look at it from, where you were fortunate enough to keep your jobs. And as someone who watches a lot of footy, like for me, it was so exciting because we had so much sport to watch between the NRL, the rugby, the AFL. Like it was like Christmas for sport. It was beautiful. So it was good that you guys got to keep entertaining for us.
Yeah, no, that's right. And I think we're probably the first sport in the world to pretty much pick back up.
Yeah.
And it wasn't we weren't too long out of the game. We probably had a few weeks where we were everyone was just back home and doing their own thing. Like we weren't even out, I guess, allowed to be together.
Yeah.
Once the NRL did get postponed, we weren't even allowed to be together. And yeah, so we were just back home doing our own. We had a bit of a WhatsApp group, and we were posting in there just workouts that we're doing at home, and just had little challenges like who could do the most push-ups, blah blah blah. Just little challenges like that, just to keep us training and keep us involved with each other. Like, yeah, it was a little bit tricky, but I guess you talk with the no fans. We we played round one, and we had. So I think it was full crowds round one.
Yeah.
Round two, there was no one allowed. No one was allowed at the venue. So it was just, super strict, players only. And I think there was like 5 or 6 staff that were allowed to go. And that was it. And then we had a break for about, don't hold me exactly to it, but maybe 5-6 weeks. I can't tell you the exact time frame, how long we're out of the game for. Then we come back and there was still no crowds. But yeah, obviously it wasn't ideal, but and the reason why we do play the game is obviously because we love it, and we put all the players and staff as well put so much time and effort into the game. But the main thing while we play the game at the moment is to give back to the fans and to not have them there. And yeah, it was definitely an odd feeling, but it's definitely so much better when you got, and the Red V fans, like for the Dragons, they're unbelievable fans. They, when you really playing some good footy too, they're right behind you. And so that's why we play the game. And it was definitely good towards the end of the season to have the Red V fans there. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. And it was obviously a huge season for you. Getting into the Blues squad, and 5th highest point scorer, which is an incredible achievement in itself to show the athleticism and the consistency in your own performances. But before we find out about this season, what your focus on moving forward, tell us a bit of the backstory for you. Growing up, was like NRL or something you always wanted to play in, or did you have other interests? And what was that journey like for you?
Yeah, so obviously, grew up in a small country town called Temora, and it's southern New South Wales, and I guess everyone back home. So I'm in a family. We've got 3 boys, and I've got an older brother, younger brother, obviously mum and dad, and grew up playing footy from a young age, 4-5 years old, and my dad grew up playing footy. My pop played footy, so it was in the family, and just grew up playing footy from a young age, as well as my older brother. My little brother wasn't into it as much, but mate, we played whatever sport back home with all my friends, and that it was it was just everyone was always outside. You were never inside playing, I guess, PlayStation or just inside in general. Really, we were always playing, whether it was playing, golf, or swimming, or playing tennis. It was always cricket in the summer. Yeah. There was just all like basketball, anything like there was any sport that was on back home, or everyone in Temora was into it. So there was just it was just always sport. And, it was good and I loved it. And there was no sport that I loved more than any other. It was just, I love sport in general, whatever it was. Not that I was the best at, any sport that I did. I just love sport in general. And it was, and it's just always been that way. I've always just, any sport that it is, I love. So I watch anything on TV and, but it was sort of, I was about, I think I was 13 when I was playing in a rep team for our sort of local area. It's called Group 9, and it was just sort of the towns around sort of where Timor is. And I was playing, and there was a recruitment officer from the Dragons who'd picked me up and just sort of had a bit of a chat to me and said they were interested. But actually, so to that, it was, they originally seen my brother the year before. Yeah. And so pretty much I was just like the brother, and they just sort of had a look at me the year after. So I was pretty lucky that Hayden got picked up. Hayden, my brother, got picked up the year before, and they sort of signed him. And so we were both sort of signed at 13 years of age, and then come 15, they actually moved us down to Wollongong, which is about a 4.5 drive to the coast. Yep. So we had a little bit of family. My mum's sister and her family, and my dad's brother and his family actually lived down in Wollongong. But actually my mum and my little brother moved down with Hayden and I to in 2015. So I was 15 turning 16. Hayden was 16 turning 17. So I was going into year 10, and Hayden was going into year 11 when we moved down. And so obviously it was a little bit hard on mum and dad, and they sort of they didn't split up, but it was sort of what they almost had to do, really. Dad was just coming down sort of as much as he could, weekends here and there, and mum was going back as much as she could. And it was sort of the best thing for us for mum to head down, and she come down for the first 2 years. And then once the first 2 years was sort of up, she took home with my little brother Declan, and Hayden and I stayed down. So we're living by ourselves when I was in year 12. So I was 17 turning 18 doing my HSC, and Hayden was actually working. So he was doing an apprenticeship, and pretty much so when I come down, I played 1 year of Harold Mats, which is under 16s, for the Dragons, and Hayden was playing SG ball, which was under 18s. Yep. And then I jumped up in the next year into SG ball, and Hayden and I both played. And then we both jumped up to under 20s. And then the year after, which was, I think it might have been 2018, I moved into first grade, and ended up debuting in when I was 18. So it was it's been a bit of a process, mate. It's actually 7 years next year, which will be a 7th year in Wollongong. So time's absolutely flown, but it's been the best thing ever. And the sacrifices that our family had to make for us to they've done everything possible for us to be in the situation that we are at the moment. And we love every second of it. And Hayden and I are still down here, and we're living together, and we absolutely love it, mate. And we're actually about to head back to tomorrow for Chrissy and catch up with all our friends and family. And mate, it's been unreal. And it's sort of the start of the journey, really.
Definitely is, mate. That's awesome that you're it sounds like you got a tight-knit family, and you've all been able to, obviously there's been some sacrifices made, but you're all experiencing the journey together, which is awesome to see. For yourself, obviously getting, I guess, recruited and scouted from a young age, did you feel that, did you take on any pressures from that, or was it you pretty just comfortable cruising through? What was that like? Because you often see, I grew up in a similar town for you, and I think 13 out of our 17 squad with the Clydesdales in Toowoomba, where I grew up, were all signed or contracted with the Titans or Bronx, and then everyone sort of just burnt out. So it's always fascinating for me when people, continue to fly on with it.
Mate, I don't think so. I completely understand what you're saying because, there's so many people that have been picked up from a young age that have had so much talent, and they've been picked up from a young age from a small country town like Temora, and they've gone down to whether it's been Sydney or Melbourne or Wollongong, or that are far bigger than the towns that they're originally from, and they've sort of gone down by themselves on their own bat, and have had to do things by themselves. But I think that the thing that we had on our side was that my mum did come down with us.
Yep.
Was, to be honest, mate, there's no way in the world that I'm a massive mummy's boy, and so I'm on the phone to mum pretty much 5 times a day, and also my old man, and we're super close. But I honestly do not think that Hayden and I would have been able to come down and do it by ourselves, even though we did have family and relatives here. It was sort of, there's no way that we would have been able to come down, and whether it was going to a Dragons house where we still had to fend for ourselves and do our own thing, living with other boys. But it's not the same as having your family there. Especially, I was 15 turning 16, and Hayden was 16 turning 17, and there's no way I could have at that age come down and lived in a population of 250,000 people, and coming from a small town where we had the same 20 people in our class from kindergarten all the way through to year 10. It was just, there's no way. I just would have felt like a little fish down there, and I would have just been too uncomfortable. I would have, and I ended up probably would have gone home and never would have stuck it out, but that's definitely a thing that we had on our side, mate, was our family, and they moved down with us, and they didn't have to think twice about it. It was just something that was going to happen, and we're super grateful for our parents, for sure, mate.
That's awesome to hear, mate. Really, really cool that you've got that supportive family. Obviously when we first connected on that Lululemon call and you were talking about breathwork, and I think it was Nigel Beach, you said that's helped you out with a lot of that sort of stuff. But what is it, something that the NRL or the Dragons are sort of getting you interested in, or has that been something that you've sort of looked into off your own back to sort of find ways to improve as a person and a player? How have you sort of got into that space?
Yeah, so actually it wasn't sort of a thing through the Dragons. It was just I ended up coming across Nige, and I seen some of the techniques and everything that he used, and I was sort of right into it, and I thought, and I heard him talk actually through my partner Jess. She was on a Zoom call. She was with the Gillaroos actually, so the women's, she plays footy as well, and she was on a Zoom call, and Nige was actually running all the girls through a session.
Yep.
And I sort of overheard it, and was hearing just some of the techniques that he was using just to just to be able to be that control sort of state of mind, and just sort of get your mind at ease leading into big games and whatever it is, whether it was relationships or anything in general. And I just thought, I'm kind of someone that gets real nervous and can overthink a lot of things. And, sort of just coming into NRL, into grade, it was sort of something that I thought I could really buy into. And Nigel he works with Wim Hof, and he's been the best thing for me. And I pretty much started him with working with him at the start of the year, and it's just sort of the Wim Hof method and just everything about breathing and slowing everything down and stripping everything back. And I feel like, mate, it's I've been able to play some of my better footy working with Nige, and yeah, he's definitely someone that I'll be working with for the rest of my career. Absolutely.
It's awesome, mate. And you think about it, and obviously, especially like you said, you're still so young, and this is just the start of your journey. So to have access to that and sort of tapped into that at such a young age is going to be very exciting to watch your career compound as a result of that, rather than finding it, at the back end of your career as well. So I'm excited for that. And I think it's super impressive that you're so open-minded, because I know a lot of people, we get stuck in our way, or we just look at what's right in front of us. But the moment that we're sort of open to other things that cross our path, it could be the one thing that really helps you take your performance to that next level. And as you sort of mentioned, you overthink things, and I know men and women do that in day-to-day life. So being able to have something that you can use for your sports performance, and as you mentioned, put into other areas of your life, is such a simple yet powerful tool. But
yeah, I love it, and it's something that I'd recommend to anyone. I think it's a big thing at the moment, and I think it's starting to take off. I think there's definitely a lot more people that are starting to buy into breathing, and I guess it's such a big thing in obviously sport as well. And if you can control your breathing under stressful situations, and there's so many. I guess there's so many situations in a rugby league game where you need to perform under pressure, and when you're completely out of oxygen. And I think there's certain techniques where you can control your breath, and or even just doing it before the game helps you sort of regulate your breath. And it's, as I said, mate, it's been the best thing for me. So to be able to put it into practice and just be able to help me on the field, but off the field as well, has been unreal, and just helped me sort of get away from footy once I'm finished the game. You know what I mean? It just helps me, and just really, really have a cool sort of mind frame, which I think's been helping me as well. And even I've got my mum onto it. She's sort of a person that overthinks a little bit as well, and she's a bit of a stress head, and but she feels like it's been helping her immensely too.
That's awesome. That's really cool. And what's your do you have a routine or anything like that in preparation for a match that you do, or do you just sort of take it match by match?
Yeah, so pretty much I'll do my Wim Hof method. So it's actually an app that you can download on your phone. It's called the Wim Hof method, and he runs you through this breathing cycle, and it's pretty much about 40 breaths in out, and it's a breath hold. And so I do 3 cycles of that, and it's sort of this. It's just sort of this this technique that can help you. It just drops your I guess your train of thought as well. So pretty much you're not sort of thinking before the game, because I'm sort of someone that gets real nervous before a game.
Yep.
So on game day, I'll do this about half an hour to about 45 minutes before we have to warm up. So pretty much I'll get there and get all my stuff ready, and then I'll do 3 rounds of this. So pretty much before we play. But I'll do it every night. I'll do it from Monday to Friday. I'll do it every night, 3 breath holds, and go through this cycle. And mate, I can't. I just wish everyone would have a go at it. Just whether it works for people or doesn't work for people. But yeah, it's made me a better player and a better person tenfold. So obviously I wouldn't imagine it would be for everyone, but if everyone just have a go at it, and it does work for everyone, it does. But it's been the best thing for me.
That's awesome. Do you get any of the other lads in the sheds doing it with you, or are you just doing it by yourself?
Nah, a few of the boys have done it. Yeah, absolutely. But everyone's got their own routine.
Yep.
There's yeah, I'm not sort of a person that is superstitious, so I don't have anything that I sort of do particular before a game. I know there's so many lads that are, you know, real particular about their routine, like, you know, to where they'll put one sock on, they'll tie one shoelace up, they'll put one boot on, they'll put a shirt on, or, you know, just everything in particular. They'll go jump in an ice bath, they'll come out, have a hot shower.
Yep.
There's some real strange ones out there, but I just feel, you know, if I'm overthinking a little bit, I will do this breathing, and that's what sort of brings me back down. But yeah, I just sort of leave all the lads do their own thing, and they all prep how they need to prep, you know. So this is something that works for me. I don't know whether it will work for everyone, but yeah, this is something that I found, because I didn't do it in 2019, so I didn't do it the year before. I've only just started to do it this year, and this year's definitely been my better year since coming into grade. Yeah,
that's awesome. And what you know, obviously you got the call up into the Blues squad this year, which is, mate, it's unreal. It's such a huge achievement and something that a lot of players strive for, and some don't even, you know, get to do it. And to do it, you know, at the start of your career is incredible. And, you know, I've listened to a few things about you, read a few things. You know, you're the next, you know, they compare you to Gaz and all that sort of stuff, which is unreal. Like, what was that whole experience like for you, getting that call up and for yourself, once again, at that young age? Do you take any pressure from that, or are you just excited for the opportunities to learn and grow with some of the best in the game?
It was the best moment ever to receive the call off obviously Freddie, who's the Blues coach, and I had all my three best mates from Temora. I had them all down here. So, you know, I never get to see all them boys, and to have them all here at the same time. I remember he called me and, to say that I was in the squad, and it was the best feeling ever. And then I called my mum and dad, and, you know, they started to cry, and I got emotional and told them. But to go into camp and just sort of be like a sponge, and I went in there with just an open mindset, just going in there to, whether I was going to play, not play, it wasn't going to bother me at all. I just went in there, and I just thought, what an achievement just to go in there and know that I'm going to be able to come out a better player, you know. So that's the only way I was looking at it, and I just went in there and got to learn off the best of the best, you know. So some of the players in there were, you know, the best in the game. So I was just watching them real particular about just the way that they prepare, how they train, and just everything how they go about themselves leading into a game, you know, with their recovery, their diet, everything. And I just knew that I was the most exciting thing was knowing that I was going to come out a better player and have learnt something, you know what I mean? So, it was a mad experience. It was unreal. And, you know, obviously not playing just makes you want it even more, you know what I mean? So, I'm super excited to get back onto the field and ripping with my Dragons teammates as well. So it was unreal, and I can't wait to hopefully do it all again next year.
And I'm sure we'll definitely see you doing it. Were there any things, obviously, being able to observe and see what, you know, I guess the top people in the game did? Were there any sort of consistencies that you saw, you know, maybe in the way that they prepared, how they looked after their diet, recovery? Because I think the elite in any field, whether it's rugby or business or relationships, they all have things in common. And I think if you notice that in one aspect, you can then transfer maybe that way of thinking across to other aspects. So it'd be good for the guys and girls who listen to this to sort of hear any of those consistent patterns that you saw between the top guys in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the thing is, are you a part-time footballer, or are you a full-time professional. You know what I mean? So, and the difference I mean between that is, do you go to training and do you train half-hearted, or once you finish training, do you go home and you just sort of kick the feet up, or you look at some of the and pretty much everyone in the team was like this. And the thing that I took out of it was it's a full-time thing. And once they were at training, as soon as we rocked up the training, or so even say we get up, they were particular about their weight. They start prepping straight away with their body, everything stretching, hydrating, breathing, and then once we get to training, it's just like 110%. You know what I mean? So the thing that I picked up most was the lift in intensity in training, and it's such a cliche, but it's train the way you play. And I feel like that's the thing that you can really take out of it. And the boys that were training the way that they play, it was to a T, and they go out and they perform the same way. And once they're done training, it's all about recovery. It was, there's times where you do switch off, and people would, you laugh and joke, and you have fun with your teammates, and you're on the phone to their family, and obviously you couldn't see family being in a bubble there too. But it was just a full-time thing, just to see how people prepare and look after their body. They're always stretching, they're always on, recovery pumps, always icing, always hydrating. It's just a full-time thing, and it's as simple as that. And they're definitely building something really special at New South Wales Rugby League. And but the best in the game, like you look at people like James Tedesco, who's the best player in the game at the moment, Boyd Cordner, who was a captain, and I could name a heap of players, but even just them two, they're always setting the standard. They're always doing all them little things. So it's definitely a full-time thing, especially if you want to go to that next level.
It's awesome that I've never heard it put like that you're a part-time footballer or a full-time professional, and it's a part of your life. And I think for the men listening to this, like looking at different aspects of our life as well, like how are you showing up in your relationships, with your career, with your mates, all those sorts of things? Are you treating it like it's a part-time thing and you're wondering why you're not getting the results, or are you looking at it as like this is a full-time commitment? And obviously you've got to balance your time and schedule that well, but if we want to be good partners, what are we working on for ourselves to be a better bloke, and all that sort of stuff? Or how can we be better at our profession, or looking after our health? How does what we do outside of the gym or outside of the footy field affect other aspects of our life? I think that's a cool way of putting it, mate, because I definitely, and you see so that I grew up with like James O'Connor and Quaid and all those guys, and some incredibly talented footballers, and unfortunately we've also saw how that sort of played out, and that was sort of that part-time footballer thing where you get the fame and everything else that goes along with that. And that was much like me over in France. I was a part-timer because I was hitting the piss and doing a whole heap of other stupid stuff at the same time, rather than treating it like the opportunity to really grow and be a part of something special. So that's a really cool way that you've put that there, that's for sure. And what do you see sort of for yourself moving forward? Like, what's obviously, to keep being the best, but what does that look like for you as a man and as an NRL player and a partner and everything else?
Yeah, so obviously, mate, I'm not sort of looking too far down the track, and I'm just sort of trying to play it day by day. And at the moment, for me, what I'm looking to do is I'm about to go away on a holiday with my partner, and I haven't been able to see her too much. She's sort of been in a little bit of a bubble there too, and obviously I have as well. And yeah, so at the moment, just can't wait to get away, spend a heap of good quality time with her, and then go home and for Christmas, spend heaps of time with my family and friends that I've pretty much not been able to see most of the year. And so I've had a little bit of time off training now, and I won't go back until the 4th of January, obviously next year. But once I'm back, it's just obviously the season we had at the Dragons wasn't ideal, and the last couple of seasons haven't been ideal. So the first and foremost and the biggest goal for me is just to be the best teammate and hopefully help my team. You know, we want to play finals footy. So next year, come as soon as I'm back, I'll just be looking to do whatever I can for our team to be able to be on the front foot come round one. And you know, once we get back in the new year, there won't be sort of too much time until we'll be heading into round one. So my main goal will just be being the best teammate I can, so that our team can be in the best you know, shape and form leading into round one. And I'm sure pretty much all of our teammates will be, you know, on the same board, you know, looking to do that. And we've had a massive changeover of staff and even players at the Dragons from last year. But I think that's the main thing, mate. And you know, you talk about State of Origin too. It just sort of makes you want to play it even more, you know. So, you know, that's definitely down the track. And I guess you won't be playing State of Origin if you're not performing with your club team, and your club team's obviously not going how we want. So that's the thing that we really need to get on board with, and it's something that I'm really confident that we're going to be able to do. But I guess on a family's point of view, it's just, mate, I've got a few weeks. I'm going to be able to just completely relax and just do our own thing back home. And I'm sure you'd be looking forward to doing the same thing, mate. And it's been a bit of a roller coaster year. And yeah, I can't wait for 2021. Let's hope it's you know, it's a step in the right direction. But yeah, one I'm really looking forward to, mate.
No, that's awesome. I'm looking forward to following your journey. I got one last question for you, which I never warn anyone about, so don't get too nervous about it. But the reason why I ask it and don't give people warning is good for, because, you know, we've got men from all walks of life all around the world, and, you know, there's obviously been that stereotypical version of what it is to be a man. So I always like to give people the opportunity to hear what everyone's definition is, because obviously people can relate to different versions of that, what that is, and it gives different perspectives. But ultimately, it's, you know, what is your definition of being a man? What does that look like for you? And I guess, what do you aspire to be in that space?
Obviously, the main thing that sticks out to me is I want to treat everyone. I want to treat every single person how I would want them to treat my mum. So that's the way that I sort of try and look at it. And, you know, and that's pretty much someone that I try to be. So I try to treat everyone how I would want everyone to treat my mum and my grandma. So that's sort of a pretty big factor in me. Obviously, I'm a massive family man, but you know, at the end of the day, I'm no different to anyone else. I play a game of rugby league. It doesn't make me bigger or better than anyone else on the planet. So the way I define a man is pretty much what I was saying, mate. How someone would treat my mum or my grandma. That's how I try and treat everyone.
That's awesome, mate. Well, mate, I appreciate you giving up time, and I've taken a heap of notes here as well. And I think you're, you know, at the start of an exciting career, but you're also an incredible role model for the game and for a lot of, you know, aspiring young football and old footballers that look into the game with, you know, people like yourself who are family orientated, have good morals, and are just really genuine with everything that they want to do. So wish you good luck for the, you know, next season, and I look forward to following your career, and I'm sure we'll stay in touch. But mate, once again, appreciate your time jumping on here.
Legend. Thanks, heaps, mate. I love what you're doing here too, mate. It's it's unreal to see, and hopefully I'm on again soon, mate. But thanks for having me, brother.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening in on that incredible episode. I'm sure you took a heap of notes and got a real understanding of what it's like to be a professional athlete. And I think, Zach is such an incredibly humble person, and to have the perspective on life and the professionalism that he carries for his age is phenomenal. And I truly believe he's going to be one of the leaders and role models of the NRL for the next 10 to 15 years. So it's going to be exciting to watch his career grow. Man, if you're wondering where you can tap into some more free resources along with the podcast, join the Facebook Brotherhood, the Facebook community, the Man That Can Project. So just search the group, join it, and you can jump in there. We have some incredible conversations, heaps of free content, Facebook Lives and ebooks and all that sort of stuff's available in there. So make sure you head over to the Facebook community. And lastly, if you got value from this episode, please share it with a mate that you know would also get value from it, needs to hear it, and leave a review as well. That would be awesome. Thank you for your time, gents. And until the next episode, have an incredible day. Thank you for listening to the Man That Can Project podcast. My name is Lachie Stuart, and I hope you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful. If you did, please take a moment to rate and review the Man That Can Project on your favorite podcast platform. And don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with our newest episodes. We'll see you again next time.